Hello dear children, welcome back to economic session. This is the fourth part of our Ied chapter, employment, the informalization of Indian workforce. So in this part we are going to study the formal and the informal sector. We classify the workforce into two categories: workers in formal and informal sector, which are also referred to as organized and unorganized sectors. The formal sector or the organized sector means that the all public sector establishments and those private sector establishments which employ 10 hired workers or more are called formal sector establishments, and the workers work in such establishments are formal sector workers. The workers in the formal sector get regular income. They also enjoy social security benefits such as maternity benefit, provident fund, gratuity and pension, etc. And they earn more than those in the informal sector. The government, through its labor laws, enable them to protect their rights in various ways. So the formal sector workers from trade unions bargain with the employers for better wages and other social security measures. Now we are moving to the informal sector or the unorganized sector. All those enterprises which are not public sector and those private sector establishments which employ less than 10 hired workers forms the informal sector or the unorganized sector. And the informal sector include the millions of farmers and agricultural laborers, the owners of small enterprises and people working in those enterprises, the self-employed people who do not have any hired workers, and all non-farm casual wage laborers who work for more than one employer, such as construction workers and head load workers, etc. So, in essence, we can say that formal workers are like regular workers, while informal workers are like daily wages. The uncertainty of employment is always a lingering threat to the informal workers. An informal worker is more likely to be casual as well, and the informalization leads to casualization. Informalization of workforce is defined as a situation where percentage of workforce in the formal sector tends to decline and that in the informal sector tends to rise. So informalization of workforce means that the percentage of workforce in the formal sector tends to decline and the percentage of workforce in the informal sector tends to rise. So we can say that market economy and informalization of workers are strongly correlated. The informalization is driven by the forces of supply and demand in the labor market. And presently, formal sector employment comes to merely 10% of the total and 90% of the workforce continues to be informal. So, this points to the growing vulnerability of the workforce to uncertainties of the market economy. A staggering number of 40 crore workers working in informal or unorganized sector of the economy points to the growing vulnerability of workforce to uncertainties of the market. And the informalization leads to poverty and fragmentation of social harmony.